So good afternoon students. In today's lecture we are going to see the basics of fuse. So in this lecture we are going to see what is fuse, how it works and why we need fuse, and we are going to see the types and other types of fuses in next lecture. So basically this chapter or this lecture of fuse is not there for 11, but still we are going to learn this. While seeing the portion of 12th, the basic of fuse you must know, and we are going to learn this today. What is fuse? So this is important chapter from section 1. So you have to do this chapter also, that is fuses. So why we use fuse, right? I hope you know little bit of fuse, but no problem, we will see what is the fuse. So what is fuse? So fuse is basically a safety device, right? It works for the protection of our appliances, right? We have many appliances in our home, right? We have many appliances in our home. To provide them protection or for the safety purpose, we use the fuse, right? So this is fuse. We use fuse. Why we use fuse? For the safety purpose, we use fuse. Why we need safety? From what we need safety, right? So whenever in our appliance current will flow, right? So we have already learned whenever current flows through object, what happens? That particular object gets heated, right? That object gets heated. So this is very basic, that whenever current flows through any object, right? Any appliance, then what happens? Heat is produced, right? Heat is produced. So let that appliance may be bulb, right? Bulbs also get heated. Our computers, laptops, mixers, everything, every appliance in our home, whenever the current flows, it's get heat, right? It gets heated. Now, what will happen if overcurrent will flow, right? More current will flow. There is particular rating or there is particular value current flows, right? But what if the current crosses that values, right? What if the current will cross that limit? So whenever the more current will flow through the object or through the appliance, then what will happen? More heat will be produced, right? More the current, more will the heat produced. So whenever the current flows through the object gets heated up, right? So whenever more current will flow, then what will happen? More heat will be created, and due to that more heat, what will happen? Our appliance, our object may get damaged, or due to more heat, it may catch fire, right? There will be fire. So to avoid that, what we use? We use fuse, right? So clear with this why we use fuse? So fuse is used for overcurrent protection, right? This is very basic. Fuse is used to provide overcurrent protection, right? So we will say it once again. So we already know whenever the current flows through any object, that objects get heated up, right? Heat is produced. And whenever the current flowing in that object, the current value is increased, then what will happen? There is particular value of current that is safe, right? Whenever the current is flowing through the object with the safe value of current, that means the correct amount of current is flowing, then there will be heat produced, but it will be very low heat will be produced, and that is very normal, right? But whenever the current value increases, right, whenever the current values go beyond that our particular limit, then what will happen? More heat will be generated, right? And due to that more heat, what will happen? Our appliance or object may catch fire, right? And due to that overheating, our appliance may get damaged, right? So why fuse is used, or what is fuse? So fuse is electrical safety device that operates to provide overcurrent protection of an electric circuit. Clear with this point? So why we use fuse? Fuse is used for the safety purpose, right? Fuse is used for safety purpose, and whenever there is overcurrent flowing, to protect our appliance from overcurrent, we use fuse. So this is the basic definition. Clear with this definition? Fuse is electrical safety device that operates to provide overcurrent protection of an electrical circuit. Whenever there is overcurrent, see students, whenever there is a rating, right, there is particular limit. They have given this particular limit. Now say 5 ampere. Only 5 ampere current, this fuse will allow 5 ampere current, right? So more than 5 ampere current, then what will happen? This fuse will operate, right? Then this fuse, this is the carrier, fuse carrier, and this is the fuse element. So this wire, what will happen whenever the current will flow? Whenever the overcurrent will flow, then what will happen? This wire, you can see here, this wire, it will melt. Due to more heat, this wire will melt and this will become open circuit, right? This wire will melt. Now no current will flow, right, from here. So our appliances are protected from overcurrent. So this is very simple. So here you can see this is the wire. This is fuse, right? This is fuse and this is the fuse wire, right? So whenever the current flows, whenever the safe current flows, you can say the safe current, that means this fuse will allow 5 ampere current, then 5 ampere current will flow from this fuse very safely, right? But whenever the current exceeds 5 ampere, now say 7 ampere current is flowing, then what will happen? The current will come first to here in the fuse, it will come. Then what will happen? Due to overcurrent, because 7 ampere current is flowing, then what will happen? This fuse will melt, right? Why? Because this wire will heat up, right? And due to that heating, more heating, this wire will get melt, and then our circuit or the current will not flow further and our fuse or our appliance is protected. Getting the point? So it is essential component is metal wire or strip that melts when too much current flows through it, thereby stopping or interpreting the current. So the main funda is what? Whenever overcurrent flows, I have given one example, right? So this fuse is operating for 5 ampere of current, right? Just take one example. This fuse is operating for 5 ampere current. Now this fuse is placed here and our appliance is placed here, right? So whenever overcurrent will flow through our appliance, then what will happen? Our appliance will get damaged. So what we are doing? We are providing fuse here, right? So whenever this rating is 5 ampere, okay? Our fuse rating is 5 ampere. Now consider 5 ampere current is flowing, right? So it is a safe current, right? 4 ampere current, 5 ampere, it is a safe current, right? So this current will flow and go to the appliance. There will be nothing will happen. But whenever the current will increase, overcurrent will flow due to some condition. Now consider there is 10 ampere current flowing. Then what will happen? This current will come first to the fuse and then it will go to appliance. But we have provided here fuse. This 10 ampere current will go here. But what the rating is of our fuse is 5 ampere. It allows only 5 ampere current. So 10 ampere current when it will come, then what will happen? This wire will melt, right? It will melt. And what will happen? The current will not flow further to our appliance. Why? Because this wire will get melted and there will be no current flowing further. So our appliance is protected. Getting the point? So this is about the fuse. Fuse is electrical safety device that operates to provide overcurrent protection of an electrical circuit. Its essential component is metal wire. So metal wire, it works. How it works we have seen now. So whenever there is high current, what happens? This wire will melt, and due to this melting, what will happen? There will no current flow further. There will be no current flowing further. Now consider this as a diagram. So here the current will flow in this direction, right? So we have provided fuse and consider this is our load, right? So what will happen? The current will come through this fuse and it will go to our appliance, right? So whenever there is overcurrent due to any condition, if there is overcurrent, what will happen? This fuse element will melt, right? This wire will melt and due to here the gap will be produced. This will be open circuit, right? So current will not flow further and our appliance is protected. Now consider this fuse is not here, right? Fuse is not present. Now consider overcurrent will flow. Then what will happen? This will affect directly on our appliance, right? So to protect this appliance, we are providing fuse. If overcurrent happens, then this fuse will melt and no current will flow further. Clear? If the current drawn by machine or appliance or circuit exceeds from rated value due to increase of load condition, due to short circuit, it is limited by short lengthed wire which automatically melts due to this excessive current and circuit is broken. So the same they have explained here also. If the current, so our appliance say anything, so whenever our machine, if the current taken by that machine is more, right, if the current is more than the predetermined, so there is always a ratings provided, right. So whenever the current will exceed from the predetermined value, that means we know the value, right. We have seen here that 5 ampere current will allow only 5 ampere current to flow. 10 ampere, when the 10 ampere will come, then what will happen? This fuse will melt. So here they are saying the same, that if the current drawn by machine or appliance exceeds from rated or predetermined value, predetermined means we know that value earlier, that means here in this case 5 ampere, we know that 5 ampere current only it will allow, right. But whenever the 10 ampere current flows, it will melt. So 5 ampere here is predetermined. Due to increase of load condition, so why our current will increase, why over current, why it will happen? Due to any fault, that is increase of load condition. If our load condition increases, our current will also increase. If there is a short circuit, then what will happen? Our current will increase. Due to short circuit, it is limited by short length wire. So whenever the current increases, whenever there is overcurrent, first it will go to the fuse, right. It will go through this fuse. So whenever overcurrent will be there, this fuse wire will melt and here there will be nothing, right. If this will melt only, then what will happen? Here will be open space, that is here will be open circuit and our current cannot flow, right. It cannot flow from here. So our appliance is protected. And thus wiring and appliance is protected. Otherwise it may get damaged due to excessive inrush current in the circuit. So are you getting the point? So what is fuse? Fuse is electrical safety device which provides the protection against overcurrent. So I'll explain it once again. So every appliance or everything has its own rating, right. Now this fuse will also have its own rating. So this is fuse that I have. So here behind this fuse, this is fuse, okay. So this is the fuse. So here they have provided with the ratings. Every rating is provided here, right. So here we have to attach the fuse. So what will happen? First our current will flow. This is our fuse, right. This fuse, consider this is 5 ampere. Now what will happen? This is 5 ampere, that means it will allow only current up to 5 ampere, right. If the current exceeds the 5 ampere, then what will happen? This wire will melt, fuse wire will melt and here it will be open circuit, right. Now current cannot flow further to our appliance and our appliance is protected. Now if this fuse is not present here, then what will happen? Direct this current, that is overcurrent, will flow to our appliance and what will happen? Our appliance will get damaged. So similar they have written here, if the current drawn by the machine or appliance exceeds from rated or predetermined value due to increase of load condition, due to short circuit, then what happens? This wire melts and our appliance is protected. And thus the wiring and appliance is protected. Otherwise it may get damaged due to excessive inrush of the current in circuit, right. If this fuse is not present, then what will happen? Our appliance will get damaged. Why? Because the current will directly flow through this wire and it will come to our appliance. But we are providing fuse here. So fuse is providing overcurrent protection. So whenever the current becomes more, then what will happen? This fuse will melt or the wire will melt and here it will be open and current will be not able to flow further. Shortly, it can be stated that fuse is device used to prevent overheating due to excessive current which in turn protects the insulation of wire or machine or appliance from overheating and damage, right? It is clear. So what happens whenever the current flows through object, what happens? It gets heated up, right? It gets heated. So more the current, if the overcurrent will flow, overheating will happen, right? So in short, what we are doing, we are protecting our appliance from overheating by using the fuse. By using the fuse, what we are doing, we are protecting our appliance from overcurrent. What does it mean by overcurrent? Overcurrent means what? Overheating is also protected, right? Due to overcurrent, our appliance will get overheated and we have to protect that. So they have given here, it can be stated that fuse is device used to prevent overheating due to excessive current, which in turn protects the insulation. So we have already know that everything, or you can say wire, right? Wire has insulation on it, right? So what happens whenever the more current will flow, over current will flow, then what will happen? Heating will produce and heat will be more, right? And due to that more heat, the insulation may also, right? Insulation may also get damaged, right? Or it may get removed, right? So to protect that, we are providing fuse. Duty of fuse wire is to carry normal working current safely without heating. So as I told you in this example, this will carry 5 ampere of current, right? And more, if the current is more, then it will melt. So what is the duty of fuse? It should carry the current that is a safe current, that means below 5 ampere it must carry without hitting the fuse, right? So this value of this fuse is 5 ampere. So it has to take the current that is below 5 ampere. Below 5 ampere current it must take safely without hitting. So duty of wire, fuse wire, is to carry normal working current safely without hitting. But whenever the current gets exceed, that means whenever the overcurrent will flow, then it should melt and break immediately, right? So this is about the fuse. So what does it says? Whenever the normal current is flowing, then it should not heat up. It should allow this current to flow safely. But whenever the current gets more, then it should melt and break. So this is only given here. Now following points should be noted about the fuse. So these are the points that we have to consider. The fuse is put in live wire in the main board and the sub branches. So the fuse is put in live wire, right? The fuse is always put in the live wire in the main board, that is a phase, right? It is put in phase, positive phase. It should be of rated value as per known as rated current and not on melting current. So the fuse must be chosen on the rated value, right? It should be of rated value as per known as rated current. So if our appliance, what is the appliance requirement, right? So considering the required current for our appliance, now here according to this appliance requirement, we have to choose the fuse rating here, not on the melting current, but we have to choose according to the rated current. If the fuse of proper rating is not provided in circuit and any fault occurs due to overload, flow of heavy current will heat up the wire and fire may also take place in case of short circuit. That means we have to choose the proper rated value fuse, right? We have to choose proper rated current. We have to look for the rated current, not for the melting current. We have to look for the rated current. If we do not choose the proper wire or proper fuse wire, or we cannot choose the proper fuse, then what will happen? Overcurrent will flow and it may catch the fire. So we have to always choose the fuse of proper rating. If it is not provided of proper rating, then what will happen? heavy current may flow through it and our appliance, they may get damaged or they may catch fire. So what is the rated current of fuse? So by the rated current means the current that can be carried safely for an indefinite period without undue heating and melting of the fuse wire. So as we have seen here, now we have taken one example of 5 ampere, right? So 5 ampere is the rated current, right? So this fuse must take that current safely without heating, right? Without heating that fuse wire, this current should be taken very safely from the fuse. So this is called as rated current. Rated current means which current? The current that can be carried safely, so the fuse can carry that current safely without heating it, right? Without heating the wire. That current is called as rated current. This rated value depends upon the type of holder, temperature and fuse contact. So it depends upon the type of fuse holder, temperature and fuse contact. The current mentioned on fuse roll is always rated current. So as I told you, the values are always mentioned on the appliance itself. So the values which are given here, the current values, that are rated current. That means this current, now consider here, they have given here 10 ampere, right? They have given here rating 10 ampere. So the current value they have mentioned here is rated current, right? That means this fuse can carry up to 10 ampere current very safely without melting the fuse wire. It can carry 10 ampere current very safely for indefinite period. That means for very long period, it can take the 10 ampere current through this fuse. But whenever beyond the 10 ampere, that means overcurrent will happen, then what will happen? This fuse will melt, fuse wire will melt and our circuit gets open. So current mentioned on fuse roll is always rated value. Now we have learned about the rated current. Rated current means what? Rated current means the current that is carried safely, right? Without heating or melting the fuse wire. Now fusing current. So what is a fusing current? So what does it mean by fuse current? Fusing current, it means the value of current at which fusing wire melts when the current passes even for a fraction of second. That means the current, the particular current, value of current that melts the fusing wire. So the current, whenever the current passes through our fuse or fuse wire, what will happen? Fuse wire will melt. If the current is of over current, then our fuse element or the fuse wire will melt. So the current at which fusing wire melts when the current passes even for fraction of second. For you can say for the fraction of second, if that current passes, then also our fusing wire will melt. Fuse wire will melt. So that current which melts our fuse wire is called as fusing current. So fusing factor. So we have one formula for fusing factor, that is ratio minimum fusing current divided by rated current of fusing element. So this is just remember, fusing factor is minimum fusing current divided by rated current of fusing element. So what is rated current of fuse? The current which can be carried very safely without heating or melting. And fusing current means what? The current which melts the fuse wire when the current passes for the fraction of second. If that overcurrent flows for the fraction of second also, the fuse wire will melt. So what are the different materials used to the fuse wire? So this fuse wire is made up of materials like copper and lead tin alloys are mostly used in ordinary fuse wires. So that fuse wire, in our ordinary purpose, we use copper and lead tin alloys, right? And silver wire is also used. Silver is also used, but it is very costly, so we cannot use it. Now fuse unit should have following properties. easy isolation or separation from the terminals, right? So this fuse can be easily taken out, right? So that means it should be isolated, easy isolation or separation from the terminals. If you want to place it, we can place it. If you want to remove it, we can remove it. That means it must be easy, that if you want to work on this appliance, we have to stop the current, right? We have to stop the supply from here. If you want to work on this appliance, then what we have to do, we have to just remove the fuse, right? So what will happen? Current will not flow further here, right? So we can properly work on this appliance. If there is maintenance or anything, we have to just remove this fuse. So what will happen? Current will not flow further, right? Box or case which holds the fuse wire should be of insulating material such as porcelain. So there is one box in which fuse is fitted. So that box must be of insulating material, porcelain. Ease of replacement. If you want to replace the fuse, it must be easy. So this is about today's lecture. We will see in next lecture that what are the different types of fuses. So this is about today's lecture. If you have any doubts, you can ask.